Yeah. Are you not hearing me? I hear you.
Okay. I do. Do you have a history with Russia and Putin?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I started going to Russia when I was a teenager more than 50 years ago, and I've been kind of an amateur Putinologist for the past 20 years.
So tell us what you think Putin thinks looking at what happened today.
I I think Putin thinks I'm winning now. I've got it. All I need is for the U.S. to stop supplying military munitions to Ukraine, and I can ratchet up and I can achieve my aim. Putin is a czar. That's how he sees himself. His goal is to restore the Russian Empire. He cannot be pried away from Xi Jinping and Ayatollah Ali Khamenei in Tehran. That's an axis of aggressors. That cannot be done. Putin wants all of Ukraine. If he has to settle for less, it's a failure for him. He wants to restore, he wants to be czar of all the Russias. That means Belarus, which is a vassal state, and it means Ukraine most of all. He wants 40 million additional Russians. That's why he has stolen 20,000 Ukrainian children, and he's brainwashing them to believe and to grow up to be Russians. And he wants that military, that Ukrainian military, so he can put bayonets in their backs and march them towards Moldova, possibly not a part of NATO, but also towards, I would say, Lithuania, Estonia, and Latvia.
Lauren, come on in. Tell us what's on your mind, Lauren. Go ahead.
Hi. Yeah, national security is like my biggest passion. So, and I love the FDD, Cliff. So it's really cool that you're on here. Yeah. So I guess I just kind of wanted to share my thoughts and then maybe ask like a kind of quick but broad question. So I first just wanted to like point out that we're not being entirely neutral. You know, Trump is trying to portray that we are neutral in these negotiations because he thinks that that's what would be best to get a deal with Putin. We don't know. What we do know is Obama sure never got a deal, didn't do anything militarily. Biden didn't get a deal, didn't give Ukraine enough weapons in the beginning to, you know, be able to stave it off more. But we're not neutral. I mean, Trump even reiterated twice during the press conference today that, yes, we will continue giving aid to Ukraine. And I'm just so I was disgusted by Trump's remarks. I think it was last week, calling him a dictator. So I'm not like a Trump apologist or anything like that, but I'm just like so blown away by the reaction by the media and a lot of the Democrats, because I don't understand how you could watch the first 30 minutes before it got contentious at all. Okay. Zelensky was sitting there. I don't care if he's not in a suit. And Trump defended Zelensky when a stupid reporter like asked some question to Zelensky about not wearing a suit. Trump was like, I think he looks great, you know, in his usual laughing mode. But Zelensky for the first 30 minutes was rolling his eyes, putting his hands up in exasperation, shaking his head. And I understand why, right? Like I feel for Zelensky so much, but that is so disrespectful. And Trump wasn't reacting at all. He's sitting there, you know, he wants to get this deal done. So just the way that Zelensky behaved during those first 30 minutes and then, you know, butting into the vice president to try to argue in front of the cameras, I find as an American so disrespectful.
Right. So Lauren, thank you for that. I want Cliff and more to respond. I blame them all in the sense that they're all responsible adults. They all have something. But it seemed to me there's no doubt, just from watching it as a human drama, that Zelensky really did a lot of things to set them off. And he's right. He's here asking for the help. Yes, he doesn't love the deal, but Dad, don't you think history's going to report, as Cliff suggested, that this was Zelensky's failure?
No, I think
primarily.
Trump told us that he set him up. Remember, he said when the vice president suggested that this should not happen in public, he said, no, I let it go because I thought this would happen and I wanted people to see it.
And he didn't say I thought this would happen. He didn't say I thought this happened. He said it's people should see this.
See the controversy. Oh, I think he did say that he thought they should see the disagreement and the disrespect.
Yeah.
The most important thing to him was that Zelensky was not respectful of him. And he wanted the American people to see that.
Let me challenge your premise though. If you're right, what does Trump get out of this? Why is this better for Trump?
Because he wants Zelensky to bend the knee and kiss his hand like everybody else has done. Yeah. And he think
And you know what? That's absolute. That is true. And in a way, that's what you got to do. So look at the British Prime Minister, Keir Starmer. He came in and he was so deferential, right? So deferential, and he had to be. I think Lauren's points are also good. Two things that I thought of. One was Lindsey Graham saying, "Look, I advised him don't take the bait. I advised Zelensky don't take the bait," and he did. And the second thing that was a clue to me, I was watching it, and if you look carefully, you'll see the Ukrainian ambassador. I know her. I like her, bright woman. She at one point that's right. She puts her heads in it. She knows it's going off the rails. This is not the way to handle it. She knows that Zelensky, again, a man I admire, he's making a mistake because his job here is to be deferential if you need to be, get an agreement going, and also make sure that you keep Trump on side. Privately, you can say, let me just tell you what I know. And this is my column last week in the Washington Times. Let me tell you what I know about Putin and his record going back 20 years to when he razed Grozny to the ground, killed 100,000 Chechens. How many of his critics he has assassinated on the streets of Moscow and in the streets and in a hotel in London? We know this. I don't know that Trump has a clear idea of who Putin is, but to do this in front of the cameras, he should have just, again, bit his lip, twiddled his thumbs and said, "Thank you, sir. Thank you to the Americans. What will we do without you? We need you badly." And that's what he should be doing right now.
I agree.